What's up, everybody? This is Gunz, and this is another edition of One on Gunz, courtesy of Alternative Press. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at The Gunz Show, Gunz with a Z. I'm stoked. I'm so happy. I've been able to know this band for years now. Grew up with them since the old mp3.com Pure Volume days to now they're back at Webster Hall. Let's go. The new Webster Hall, by the way. Of course, this is for AP. As always, subscribe to the One on Gunz channel. They are called Motion City Soundtrack. We're here with Justin and Josh. What's up, friends? How are you?
First of all, I want to know, how do you remember all of that stuff? Because that was amazing.
I
mean, you've been doing this for a while.
I would say, like, it's kind of like how you guys, well, thank you for that. Can you say that again?
You're a professional.
Perfect. Going right to the beginning of my reel on that one. It's kind of like you with the muscle memory about playing the chords, right?
You'd think.
One would hope, right?
Yes, I think for me, it's his muscle memory.
Sure. Yeah. Listen, it is Motion City Soundtrack. They're here. So good to see you guys. First of all, congratulations on everything. 2020. Sum up 2020 for us. So far, it's about a weekend.
Panic and stress.
Okay.
But no, we're trying. Like this is, and I've been saying it from stage because it's just been blowing my mind. But I think I'm finally now reaching this point where I got to be delicate about how I word this, because I've had fun in the past. But this is a different kind of fun where I've been able to let go a lot more of the stress, because I tend to function through stress. I get stressed, I push it out, and now I'm learning how to just be calm and enjoy the moment. And it's been like a real trip.
And the crowds have been loving it. I know last night you guys did Long Island, but the tour's going all across the country. Tonight's gonna be crazy, sold out New York City. Is it wild when you really think about it?
Yes. I never think about it, but I guess I do sometimes, and it's like really crazy. It's really crazy.
You were mentioning stress before. Is it better now because it has been a couple years, and now is it more of a no worry, not carefree, but kind of just like F it type vibe? What are we thinking? Like, why do you think it might be easier now to project it?
I think that there's no, the word escapes me. There's no.
We're not trying to like make it in the same way that it was before.
There's no like pressure to do or be anything. It's just all we got to do is play our songs. You know what I mean? And so there's like we don't. I think up until 2016 there was this like cycle, this thing like you make a record, you go on tour, you play some shows, you write another record, you make another record, you do. We're just kind of in this loop, infinite loop. And then after 2016, we all kind of just dispersed and started doing our own things, and most of us, hanging out with our families.
Right.
There's a couple of dads in the group, and then now coming back, it's like we get to do this, right. So it's a different perspective, I think.
Less of a have to, more, and not that it was a have to. It just spiraled out of it became its own thing. I always equate it to like a train. And you can't get off it. It's going too fast.
A runaway train, if you would. Soul Asylum, great song.
Runaway train. No.
What are we describing right now, Motion City? Because this tour is selling out all across. What word, what phrase? Can we say MCS is back? Not really a comeback. What's happening? Give me a word. Give me a phrase. Describe it right now.
Nope. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this is too much of a look behind the curtain, but I think more than anything right now, we're just doing the thing that is in front of us. And it took us a year and a half to like actually assemble like Voltron, and get this thing to happen. So there's not a plan. Can I say that? I'm saying it. There's no play. There's just like, we're playing music, and it's been a lot of fun, and we're focusing on that. And it's like we never stopped writing. I would send Josh something, Josh would send me something, Matt would send us something. But there was no like hard cut, like here's when things have to be done. We're just kind of taking our sweet time.
He's like, say this in interviews. We're a band and we play music.
But the fans want to know more, though. I mean, can you blame them?
Yeah, I know.
I think honesty is the best policy, but that's often gotten me in trouble. So, but for real, there's like I don't know what we're doing.
We kind of have this idea of like get this going. And we'll discuss with each other. Yeah, let's see how we feel. No matter how it goes. I mean, we knew it was going pretty well. It's just the idea of it was. But like, it's like, once we're out here and we're with each other, I mean, we want to make sure we're having a good enough time doing this, and that we can stably function while doing it with our home lives and stuff. And
I will say that I think just the time apart has made it so that now that we're back together, we aren't automatically like bickering over meaningless stuff. You know,
Ever.
lots of bear hugs when I least expect it.
A lot of bear hugs. A lot of grizzly hugs, right?
He likes to pick me up and carry me around the cities.
Monkey.
Make him do things.
I can say that the last time I saw you guys, cannot help us. The last time I saw you guys was Irving Plaza. It was a goodbye to MCS a couple years ago, or we'll see you hopefully soon. But I'm stoked, man. I'm excited, and I think the fans are too because they're showing up, and like I'm just happy for MCS to be back again in our lives.
Well, I was gonna say,
Not to get sappy.
never use words like never and always.
It kind of came out of nowhere. You guys released like a quick 20, 30-second promo vid saying MCS is going to be whatever this is, or we'll be playing shows. It came out late last year. We were excited, kind of blew up the internet, went viral and all that. There was a background song in there. Is that an MCS song? Do you even know what I'm referring to? Do we have new music? Like,
That was Matt. I think Matt made a version of "Together We'll Ring in the New Year."
gotcha.
Yeah, it was like a I don't know what you would call that. Just like
Remix. I don't know. He made like he did his own version of the song to like tease the.
And it was great, and what a great song. I'm sure people listened to that on 2020 a week ago, whatnot, ringing into the new year. Maybe they did. But having said that, what is the status? What can you tell the alternative press listeners out there, or anybody out there, about perhaps new music or vibes or anything like that going on?
maximum vibes. Yeah. I've always had maximum vibes.
We have a folder on a Dropbox that has song ideas in it. I don't know if they'll ever come out or do become a. No.
Love that. Holy God, we did it! Yeah.
We're feeling it out. I don't think that we as people are people that cannot make music at some point. I don't know what it'll be or what'll happen, but
so nothing like fully produced yet. Anything mixed or
no?
Okay. No secrets.
I mean, 2025. Maybe we'll get something going.
I mean, you've always, even the thing is, even after you guys, took some time off away, you guys still continued with music. I mean, music's always going to be a part of your lives, no matter what. I mean, that's what you all individually do, and collectively, hopefully, again.
My goal in life is to morph into Tom Waits, only a much less talented and
with better hair,
not as good looking version of Tom Waits. But I will always make music. It just might be for me in my basement, my lair, But the lair, did I say that right? Layer. Yeah.
15 years of Commit This Memory, which is wild when you really think about that.
Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah. What month is that? Is that a May one or June one?
June, I think. June 1, yeah.
It's been 15 years.
Not quite.
Soon.
We're getting there. Okay, give us like 4.5 months or 5.5 months.
Any talk on, a lot of bands are doing anniversary tours. Clearly, you guys haven't thought about that yet.
I feel like we just did one for that record.
True, and I was there for it
5 years ago. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, what are we going to do? Are we just going to do it okay, 15, 10, 5, 20?
Why not?
I mean, okay, 18. Let's do like an 18 and a half year anniversary for certain.
Words never and always.
Right, yes.
Yeah, so basically every record we've done, every year we're going to do a reunion tour for every record. On the record.
Right, yeah. And I'm all about it, yeah. So every year there will be an anniversary of one of the records.
It's one of them, yeah.
Tickets on sale. Do any of those songs, or not even just those songs, that album's still incredible this way. I still listen to it, and it's wild how, how songs just hit you differently. But when you guys are up there, do lyrics or any parts of songs actually that you look forward to playing now?
Well, this has tripped me out. I haven't really talked to anybody about this, but in just taking some time off, I've spent a lot of time in therapy the last few years working on some serious stuff, and it's wild. It's hard to explain, and it would take me hours to get into it, but I'm finding that in going, because I tend to pour over the lyrics and I got to go through them before each show, and I kind of do this weird ritual of it's an OCD thing, but in looking at it, the months leading up to this, I found that a lot of these things that I wrote, 15, 20 years ago, make sense to things I'm going through now in a weird way that I didn't. I don't know. It's just blowing my mind. Some cosmic shit. So that's something. I can't remember the exact question you asked, but that's something that I'm finding right now. Is it's hitting me from a different point of view, but as opposed to feeling the same way I did when I wrote these songs, that has kind of gone away even years ago, but now that feeling has been, whatever those feelings were, they've been replaced with excitement and warmth and love and fun, and that's what I'm feeling when I'm playing now. I would say I felt that like 10% in the past and 90% panic. Now it's about 40% panic, 60% love. I think starting in 2007, somewhere around there, people started writing me messages on Twitter and all the various
MySpace back then, right?
Yeah, but and they would say things to me, and it just blew my mind because I'm an idiot. Like I will go on record saying I'm an idiot, and wrote these songs, didn't think too much, just whatever was going on in my head, I just barfed it out, and then these people would send me messages that were like, oh, hey, I have OCD too, or I have this too, or I have social anxiety too, and I'm like, what do you mean too? What do you mean too? Why are you putting me in this thing? What do you mean? And then years later, I sort of figured it out, like, oh yeah, I actually have these things. I just didn't notice any of this. And then part of the therapy that I've been doing in the last few years has been addressing some of these things that I've never paid attention to. And so it's this weird thing where I said a thing, somebody heard a thing, sent it back to me, and I learned something from them that I put forth. It's just very confusing, but it's all connected. Basically, it's all connected. Right. We're all humans sharing a human experience together, and thank you for that, good people.
But one more follow-up to that, though, because you've always been, I think, the reason perhaps some fans were able to kind of connect or at least look into Motion City is because you've always kind of been outspoken about what you've kind of been going through, or at least like saying that you were feeling certain ways. Maybe you didn't know exactly what they were, but you've kind of been able to express yourself as best as you've been able to. Now I think with 2020, finally it feels like the stigma of mental health isn't as bad anymore. More people are talking about it, or hopefully able to come out and discuss it more, or at least mental awareness is, you don't have to be ashamed of it any, perhaps as you could have even just 3, 5, 10 years ago for sure. What would you want to say? Nobody has all the answers, but what would you want to say to anybody out there going through whatever aspect of it, or difficult times or anything like that?
Well, I would say that, I don't know if the word ignorant is correct, but part of the reason that, that's the thing that has come at me over the past, that I've been brave and strong and all these things, and that was not the case. I just didn't know any better. I just said whatever I thought and felt. There was no thought behind it, and so I can't take credit for being brave, but it never occurred to me that would be a thing that anyone would be upset about, talking about mental health. That just doesn't make sense, and the fact that I didn't know exactly what I was saying when I was saying it as well. So basically, again, I'm a dummy, but the point is that I think it's great that people could benefit from my mental ramblings, and it's sort of like an example, if somebody writes a message that says, "You saved my life with your music," I like to, obviously we didn't do anything. They were in the right place at the right time, heard a thing, and it connected with them, and they did it themselves. And that's a beautiful thing to, not to get too serious, but you write something, you make a piece of art, and somebody is affected by it in a positive way. And that's I think the best thing that can happen from my point of view. So I don't know if I answered your question, but those are my feelings on the topic.
I mean, it's definitely important to just, seek. There's people out there if you need. There are, yes.
Yeah, and it took me way too long. But yeah, I just started going to therapy 3 years ago, and it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I think, I don't know, this guy could make a joke or not, but I feel like I've chilled out a little bit, in the last few years.
Your thoughts? No words necessary, right? Just the look.
I mean, what are you talking about? Chilled out from what era? Because there's some fucked up eras.
It's just...
Who, you being difficult? Who? Yes. Never. Who would have thought, right?
But I think...
From 10 to 15 years ago.
Even 4 years ago, I think it's that there's a healthy version of nothing matters. And I think that it's just finding a way to be present and be in the moment and enjoy what's right in front of you instead of, worrying about the future or being haunted by the past. There's not anything you can do about those things. You can prep, but there's no guarantee. So I think the point is to find happiness, however you define it, in the moment, and it's with the people that you love, and that's pretty much what I found.
The end.
Did you write the lyrics or the chords first for "Let's Get Fucked Up and Die"?
It always happens kind of at the same time. I tend to write really simple power chord stuff, and then a melody usually shows itself. That song was weird because that and Attractive Today, the blueprints for that all happened within a 1 hour period while I was very drunk in my apartment and full of self-loathing. And it was more like, here's a blueprint of guitar work and all of the lyrics, and then the band had to figure out how to like turn them into songs. And then I think with Attractive Today, I was adamant, we fought, and I didn't want to repeat a single line. I was very into the Weaker Thans at that moment, still am, but, and so Josh was like, no, we have to have something, there has to be some sort of like thing, and then he came up...
Slightly longer.
Well, yeah, I tend to write these like 1 minute long songs, but he came up with the idea of having the I am wrecked, I'm over, like that part repeated in a different way in the middle, and then it was like, yes. And then with LGFUAD, that one I believe was sort of figured out at Brett's house in his studio. Everybody got together.
You had this cool thing, and we really liked it, but it was very strange. It doesn't repeat words. It doesn't really have a chorus per se. I mean, the chorus is like in this department, basically. Like, that's it. And so I was like, but it was super cool, and none of us wanted to. And so I was like kind of at a loss because I didn't know how to like tinker with this one, because normally we tinker with Justin's stuff, and then, or like someone comes with something, we tinker with it and we make it our song. That one was like, I was worried we just tinker it, we're gonna wreck it. It was cool the way it was, but we didn't know what to do. So Brett came up with it. He was like, all right, well, let's fuck around with this thing. And then I don't know, I was sitting in the studio with Brett, and I putting capos on guitars and trying to figure out cool little jingle jangle things I could do over Justin's part. And then it kind of came together that way. And then I think Mark had this whole idea of doing I don't know if Brett had come up with the different drum beats, but Mark had this idea of having like all the drum beats being like, or maybe it was Tony, but somehow I feel like Mark and Tony came up with this idea how the drum beats change like drastically throughout, and they would drive the changing of the song instead of the normal way.
It's a really weird, like it feels like a song, but when you actually look at it, like it's just A B A B A B.
The drums and the music change. I mean, like the instrumentation stays pretty similar, just maybe a little more distortion, less acoustic. But like the drums definitely like shape the way that song goes.
Do you think this is fun?
Wow.
It's like a song. Let's see like how we remember.
No, I'm saying, well, listen,
More of this.
there's a lot more of that. That will be part 2, and that will be on the next time you can see them on tour, hopefully in 2020.
When you come, if you come, pay attention to the bands that play before us, and if you like something that you heard, support that band, buy their merchandise. That's how they can make a living. So that's all I will say. My favorite 3 bands right now are a band from Ohio called Van Dale. There's a band that we played with last night, Elise Filchuro, her band Pronoun. And then we're playing with a band from Philly or around that area called Thin Lips in a couple of days.
Well, this whole tour is the thing, is we just pick bands that were like, this is a cool band. There's a couple bands from Minneapolis that I've stumbled into that are really cool. There's these young guys that are like I think one of them's still finishing high school. Like they tour with their dad as their tour manager. But they're a band called Why Not from Minneapolis. They're really cool. There's a cool band from Minneapolis, a little more like Radioheady and stuff, called Author, that we put on one of the shows as well. That's really cool.
Anything you want to say to everybody out there? This isn't one and done, right? Like, will we see you again later this year? Hopefully, please.
It all depends, but I feel like this, based on what I've seen so far, it seems like people are interested in seeing us. So if that's the case, I think that then changes. Well, not that we had any plans, but that ends up, what's the word? Influencing future decisions.
Gotcha.
I think if that makes sense.
Anything you want to say? This is how it goes. So easy to
get my charts.
So easy to get things across, right? Yeah. Decision making is your specialty.
God, no. Yeah. No.
I mean, listen. It's if it helps people, it's good. Or if it helps you, that's all that matters, right?
Yes. If it helps me, that's all I care about.
It's always back to him, right? It's always back to him.
You just watch this back later.
It's the Me Show, starring me. With these
We got one on Gunz.
yahoos. One on Pierre.